Welcome back to Melodic Memories of a Light's Monarch. I'm Casey, and happy Father's Day. I know it just passed the day before this came out, so if you're listening to it on Monday, thank you so much for your support. If you're listening to it any other day, hell, thanks for the support anyways, all the same. But again, happy Father's Day. It did just pass, and I was able to wish my dad a happy Father's Day, called him, and even was able to talk to my stepdad, and just love all around. So thankful for them. I know I have to be grateful for what I have, as I know not everyone is able to have said things. And for those of you that don't have fathers to celebrate, my heart goes out to you, and to all the fathers out there that did give a shit to stick around or are around still. Thank you for all you do. And hopefully everyone's week otherwise has been amazing, because it's been a busy one. This past week, it's been a very busy one. So let me break it down for you guys how my week went. So for starters, myself and Reese and I, we ended up making our way out to Edmonton. So the day of Monday, there was an Oilers game. Big, sad, unfortunately, as we did end up losing. Took the big L, and it was not pretty whatsoever. Like, big loss. I believe we lost 6-1. Against Florida. Big sad there, but we didn't let it bring us down, because the next day we were actually going to Edmonton for the concert headlined by 3 Days Grace. And obviously it's one I've been looking forward to. I bought tickets a while back. I can't even remember how long ago. But I bought tickets for it because I knew Adam Gontier was back in the band. And he is one of the dudes that, obviously made the band what it was. I know the band has a lot of members in it, though, with that man's voice, with that man's lyricism, you can tell what was lacking with the lineup. Since he left back in, 2015? It's been a long time. And I know 2015 was their first album with Matt, and, I know he was the singer for the My Darkest Days band, and he's made a name for himself in 3 Days Grace. He is their singer now, but with certain circumstance and situations that have happened in the present, we now have Adam back in the band, and he's able to actually sing again. I know that in the past he had a lot of problems with drug addiction, be it actual just mental health issues on top of it all. Just a huge downward spiral that man had, and you can hear it in the music. It's very unfortunate. Glad he's still with us today, because obviously roads can get very dark. Things can take very dark turns very, very quickly. So thank goodness he is on this planet still to this day to be able to make this actually happen, because it was an absolute amazing concert. So I will get into it in a moment, but I wanted to highlight the trip itself, because on the way down to Edmonton, it was clear skies. It was beautiful. Apart from the smoke, mind you, it has been very, very hazy around here. Not so much now, as we were blessed with some rain. Thank goodness. Thank God. Guess those rain dances finally paid off. But in all seriousness, it was pretty smoky, but once we got closer to Edmonton, it obviously cleared up. It wasn't that bad. And we were able to just enjoy the trip by listening to the entire 3 Days Grace discography from start to finish. Now, when I say from start to finish, I don't mean every little bit of singles in between. I didn't go that hard, don't worry, but I have downloaded this app called Airbuds, and again, no sponsorship whatsoever, so I'm just going to high level this here. Airbuds is a little thing, pretty much social media for music, and it told me that I listened to 90 3 Days Grace songs that day. So if that gives you any idea, it definitely was a lot, because we started with 3 Days Grace Expanded Edition on Spotify, because obviously the streaming service I use is Spotify, so I am missing a few things, it seems, because 1X we listened to, apparently it has a bonus track on Apple Music, which I wasn't even aware of. So we went from their 2003 3 Days Grace self-titled into 2006's 1X, which actually just turned 19, believe it or not. Absolutely insane. Happy birthday to that album. And Life Starts Now, 2009. then into Transit of Venus 2012, and at this point, that was the last album with Adam. And mind you, the first 4 albums that they did, at least the first 3 before Transit of Venus, was more on the heavy side, more rock and roll. They had their signature sound, and with Transit of Venus, it honestly felt like they were leaving that behind for something a little bit more, I don't even know how to explain it other than just arena rock, maybe less just unique and more quiet, more soft. They were definitely going for something different, and you can tell that Adam is exhausted on this album. You can tell that he is at his end, even in his singing. Like, it isn't as powerful and full as some albums earlier. And my favorite album of 3 Days Grace, their whole discography, is Life Starts Now. So mind you, I definitely understand like what he was going through just listening to that album alone. I know it's not every little detail, but wow, are some of those songs just brutal. And obviously, we then went into Human, 2015's Human, and that is when Matt was a part of the band. Adam was no longer. So you really see it start to shift there, and we were able to even be aware of it in real time while doing this deep dive, which was so much fun, and just amazing to actually hear the way they evolved and the way they shifted over the years. Insane. Then we went into Outsider, came out in 2018, and then into 2022's Explosions, which we ended up finishing in the parking lot of the hotel that we were staying at, because we got there about half an hour early, and we had about a half hour left of the album, so why not at that point? And we actually finished all of it, and little silver lining, when we got checked into the hotel, which was seamless, by the way, we got checked in, and then we were able to listen to the newest singles, Mayday, and obviously Apologies, being my favorite of their new stuff they've got out currently. And, not even to mention, they posted about it and said so on stage that they've got new music like around the corner. So I know their album itself, the Alienation album, does come out on August 22nd of this year, 2025, but we've got another single around the corner, I'm almost certain. If you look at their socials, they're ready, they're gearing up for something new. And that is exciting. Honestly, super excited, because it's both of them. Apologies, it showed their depth. It showed what they had before they were ever, not a band. I know that they've been going and continuing, which they did mention on stage how grateful Adam was to them for continuing after he left. Which, props to him for even saying that, because he had no obligation to, but it was nice to hear, because it was just respect. Respect to both of them in knowing that this isn't him trying to take the band back. This isn't him trying to take anything that they did for granted, because they're the reason why 3 Days Grace is even relevant still to this day. Granted, it probably would have been just as successful to do a reunion tour in terms of them breaking up, but the way that it worked out, we have new music from them, which is coming from both singers now after decades of them just making music. Be it with Adam or with Matt, it doesn't matter. It's all good in its own right, and honestly, the fact that they're back together, and for the first time making music properly together, it just feels so full circle, and honestly, I cannot wait to hear what they've cooked up, because they're powerhouses of their own right, and seeing them live, oh my god. So, we finished the deep dive, the deep discog dive of 3 Days Grace, 90 songs, again, holy hell. It was worth it though, because I realized that I knew pretty much every single song that they've released. And again, we didn't check out the singles. If there were any we missed, let me know at Lights Monarch on everything. I would love to hear what your favorite 3 Days Grace song is, or Volbeat or Wage War, as both were at the show as well, because, as I said, 3 Days Grace was the headliner, not the opener. Now, we left the hotel after those 2 singles, made our way to Rogers Place with an hour to spare, accidentally made it there a little bit early, but oh well, it was all perfectly timed in the end, because we were able to get merch. I got myself a shirt for their new album. It said Alienation on the front and had tour dates on the back. I got one for myself and one for Noah. Shout out to you. He paid me for it, so I picked it up for him. Him and I can be twinsies. We match now. And we're thinking of probably wearing that to the next show we go to together. At least a funny little thought that I had, and he can actually be asked, oh, did you guys go together? And he can be like, no, because that's his kind of humor, and it would just be perfect, so fitting. And Reese was able to get a little tote bag for the album as well. And it just is nice. It was a nice experience because we were there so early, there was no lineup. We were literally a few people behind the actual, ready to go for getting the merch. And then by the time we got the merch, we seen the actual lineup, which didn't even exist yet, to get into the actual arena, the stadium. And it was just, we were there too early is what I'm saying. And it was honestly for the best, because after we got our merch, we stood there waiting, and we were like, oh wait, we have an hour to wait. So we went out into the Ice Palace. And were able to see, or Ice District maybe is the better word to say. We were able to anyways see the Oilers store. So being that playoffs is going on, they've got the Oilers store completely decked out, which I didn't even know they did this. They had a bunch of merch, as one would expect, that you can buy, be it hoodies, t-shirts, sweaters, hockey pucks, flags, keychains, pins, towels, cups, you name it. Like, so many things. Anything you could really think of, hats, you can get it, okay? And it had so much of that stuff. Very cool for an Oilers fan. But there was a little back room, which kind of mimicked their dressing room itself, and where there were jerseys there. And not only just jerseys, they were game-worn jerseys. Some, I believe, were signed. Those ones were locked behind glass, but there were some just hanging there, and it said, had certificates of authenticity that they were worn in-game and actually seen. Obviously, it's a little easier to tell with the goalie stuff that was there, because there was a wall of goalie stuff from Skinner and Talbot's, and, it was all over the place. I think even maybe some Pickard stuff, but all the same, there was even sticks that were used by the players in games all throughout the season. It was just a shrine of Oilers memorabilia that you could actually buy. Now, they were expensive, very expensive. Reese and I were actually playing, not even meaning to, but we were playing the Guess How Much It Is game at everything we found. Some of those pucks even, that were, goal pucks, they were a couple grand. It was insane. They are collectible memorabilia pieces for certain. Even being some signed skates from Connor McDavid was there. I will post some photos that I was able to take, because it was, just as an Oilers fan, amazing to see. And I definitely want to share it with everyone. But if you get a chance to check out the Oilers store in the Ice District before the Edmonton Oilers playoff run is over, which I'll get into that in a moment, because it's been an absolute fucking roller coaster of emotions. But if you're able to check it out before they close it off again, please go do so, because as a fan, it was so cool. And it was actually a complete just happy accident that we even seen it in the first place, because we didn't know it was there. I didn't even think it existed. I knew the store itself did, but when I went last time, when I was able to see Cave Town and Mother, which I do have a podcast episode about called Dirty Devil Town. Please check it out and give it a rating on iTunes. But all the same, just quick plug. We were able to see all this. Complete happy accident. And when we were there last, or at least when I was, that back portion didn't exist. They had it blocked off or closed off somehow, some way. And I don't know why. Maybe I was there too late. Maybe it's because it wasn't the playoffs yet. I don't know. But it was cool to see. And it's the first time I was actually able to see it. So I had to mention it as an absolute diehard Oilers fan that hopes they can win the cup this year. Even if it is complete delusion. Even if I need to put on the clown paint again, I'm cheering them on all the way. So that was a little bit of a small portion of the trip, and then we got into the actual venue, Rogers Place. The actual concert finally started, and we actually started by getting some waters, overpriced as all hell. I believe it was $16 to $18 for 2 waters. Absolutely mad. Reese ended up getting 4 drinks throughout the show, and they were just singles, and they were around $80 for 4 drinks. It was nuts, and I know some will say, oh, bring a water bottle, fill it with water, because there are water fountains, and that's something I didn't know. But you're not allowed to bring in outside drinks. you kind of just have to pay what they tell you to, and it's unfortunate. And if there's any loopholes to that, please let me know, because I go there and I'm planning to go there for more shows throughout the coming foreseeable future. So please share with me your secrets and your knowledge, because I need the assistance. But we were able to get our expensive ass water, and throughout the show she was able to get her expensive ass drinks, which she kindly shared with me. Thank you, Reese. And we were able to sit down comfortably in our seats, which were pretty good view, not gonna lie. I took some videos I will post to my TikTok. I know I'm slacking on my TikTok currently. I apologize to anyone looking for those videos. I am going to catch up here. I'm just currently in the process of moving. Life's been really busy, so please bear with me with all this. I'm doing my bestest, I promise. But we were able to see Wage War because they opened the show. Had no idea what really they sounded like aside from their main single, Manic, which I believe most people know in the metalcore scene. Absolutely insane to hear them play that live. On top of all their other songs that they were able to perform, they really impressed me and Reese also, which both of us don't know much of them at all. Now, Wage War killed it. I don't know all of the songs that they played, but I was able to find them on Setlist FM, thank goodness for this website, because they ended up playing Nails, Godspeed, Low, Stitch, Circle the Drain, Blur, Tombstone, Happy Hunting, Magnetic, and Manic. They closed it out with Manic, and I have to say, the entire setlist was absolute fire. Okay, so don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it, but they did not fit in. Because they were with Volbeat and 3 Days Grace. They are not the same kind of sound, I'm sorry. Just straight up, I'm sorry to say. But all the same, they still were able to kill it. Like, it seemed that some of the people weren't exactly into it. There were a lot of people still running around, walking around, getting drinks, getting out of their seat, getting in the way, is what I want to say, truly. But honestly, I enjoyed their set. I was able to rock out. Some songs caught me absolutely off guard. The ones that I can remember the most being Magnetic and Circle the Drain, and even Low, I believe. There was one other one, it might have been Tombstone, but like it had me feeling it. Like I felt it to my core, like rock out hard kind of vibe, and I was sitting in my seat. So they were able to make me feel that while I was just sitting there. I have to say, that has to stand for something. They really impressed me, and they're a band that I want to check more out on because, again, they can fucking just scream, they can shred, they can kill. So anyone that's looking to maybe see Wage War in the future, I can say you're not going to regret it. They put on a wicked show, and they were just the opener. Because after that, we got into Volbeat. Now, Volbeat, I do love them. I have to say I do, but I'm not the biggest fan, okay? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fanatic. I do enjoy their songs, the ones that I know, the same as most people. So, Volbeat, I knew what to expect. A lot of their songs kind of sound the same. There was a guy that was next to us with his wife that even said that metal music from overseas is unlike any other. And then while I was waiting for the washroom after Volbeat, someone else screamed out, 2 hours of absolutely nothing, the exact same shit over and over. So I don't really know, it's kind of up in the air to see how people enjoyed it, but I think if you enjoy that kind of music, especially metal music, where you know it can sound very similar at times and not have that much of variety, especially knowing who Volbeat is and the way they sound, when you hear a Volbeat song, you can usually tell, oh hey, that's Volbeat. So I don't know if that's just me, but that's what I get from them anyways. And I have to say, just a little bit of a backtrack, I've seen them once, as I mentioned before, in Dawson with Godsmack. And the reason I know of Volbeat is because of my brother Ty. Shout out to him. He actually went to a Volbeat concert before I ever did and had an amazing time. He jumped, so a little bit of sidetrack here, but he jumped over top of the barricade for the seating area into the pit and rolled into the pit. Like, it was a long jump, a long drop. He jumped it and tucked and rolled essentially into the pit, and yeah, they were able to enjoy the show standing there and actually rocking out because security couldn't find them after that. Just a legendary story that I remember fondly. He showed me the CD he bought. And that's the reason why I actually like Volbeat more than just kind of here and there. I do enjoy them, I just don't go to my way to listen to them anymore. I just hold those songs that I was shown all those years ago very fondly to my heart because of my brother. Now, Volbeat, they actually opened the show with a Warrior's Call. Knew that one right off the bat because that was my brother's favorite alongside Still Counting, which they actually ended the show with. Big shocker, who would have guessed that? Honestly, it is their biggest song. But they played a Warrior's Call, which went directly into Pool of Booze, Booza. I've never heard that song before, but I knew when a Warrior's Call didn't end when they were playing it on stage. I was like, what is this? It's the exact same song. It has the exact same guitar riffs, but different lyrics. And that is where I knew, right, we're dealing with Volbeat here. With all the love and respect, of course. Then they went into Lola Montez, into Enlighten the Disorder by A Monster's Hand Part 2, the live debut of it. Then a classic being The Devil's Bleeding Crown. I personally love that one. It is one of my favorites. And then Sad Man's Tongue with Ring of Fire intro. It was cool to get some Johnny Cash, I have to admit. But I was not aware that they had a song that really, literally ripped off Folsom Prison Blues. I believe that was the one. It wasn't Ring of Fire either. It was Folsom Prison Blues. And he was very, very happy. I'm stumbling here a little bit, but he was very happy that the crowd went wild for it. So, hell yeah, Johnny Cash, respect to that man, even though he is gone. Into Demonic Depression, then Fallen, Shotgun Blues. And this one is apparently a new song of theirs from their new album. And the name of it reminds me of Fall Out Boy, but demonic. The name is, and I quote, "In the barn of the goat giving birth to Satan's spawn in a dying world of doom." Isn't that emo just a little bit? Just a little, satanic emo? It was a good song, though. I have to admit, I didn't expect the name to be that, but it makes sense, I guess, for what the song was. And then they went into By a Monster's Hand, Black Rose, Seal the Deal, 4-8, and ending it with Still Counting. Now, I loved the set list that they were able to play. I do have to admit some of it was maybe a little bit too long, but that's just because I'm not the huge fan that I am of 3 Days Grace. 3 Days Grace was really where it was at. Props to Volbeat, props to Wage War. They both absolutely shredded. They killed it. They knew what they were doing. They brought the fire and they performed their fucking ass off. And they really gave 3 Days Grace a crowd to work with. Now, 3 Days Grace, really quick, I just have to say, their set list was so good. They started the show with Animal I Have Become. Absolute banger. Probably their most popular song, I have to admit. Why wouldn't it be at this point? Then they went into So-Called Life, into Break, one of my absolute favorites, Home, The Mountain, Pain, Time of Dying, Apologies, I Hate Everything About You, I Am Machine, Mayday, Just Like You, with audience member from another band. It was a girl they brought up on stage. Props to her. Then The Good Life, Painkiller, Never Too Late, and Riot, with Matt leading a Let's Go Oilers chant. So, I had to tell you the actual set list they had because it is something that was important to me. I really loved all the songs they played. Now, I am a 3 Days Grace fan. I'm not a huge stan by any means, but I do love their stuff. And I have since I was little. And I wrote some notes here, being, Adam is back and still just as strong a singer as he ever was. They opened with Animal I Have Become. Adam sang the second verse of I Am Machine, and I swear I almost cried. That's probably one of my favorite moments of the entire show. He's not on that song. He doesn't sing on that song, but he sang the second verse, and that blew my mind. It was something, I was sitting there, jaw dropped, looking at Reese like, this isn't his song. This isn't his song. She didn't understand until, the song was nearing its end. She's like, oh, and yeah, it was a huge moment. Just really making me wish they would do a re-recording of their greatest hits and do it together after they're done Alienation here, because that would be something that would just, be so, so good. They played Pain and Painkiller both. Break, holy fuck, maybe my favorite of the night, because again, Break. To hear that song, starting with the whistle, because he asked, yo, anyone out there like Life Starts Now? And obviously, my favorite album, and then you hear that whistle, and it went into Break. Oh, it was so good. That one, being able to hear it from Adam himself live, instead of it being the other singer, like, nothing wrong with him, but that voice, you can't replicate that voice, and to hear that voice sing that song, which is one that I find entirely just intoxicating no matter when I hear it, so, so good. That was, again, that one and I Am Machine, as well as the really emotional performance of Never Too Late that they were able to do, and Apologies even, because they had the crowd singing it, even though it is a new single, were some of my favorite moments. And again, Good Life, Sign of Life, I Hate Everything About You, and The Mountain. So good. So, so, so good. Brought a girly up on stage to play Just Like You with them. She's from a band local to Edmonton, just outside the city, apparently. She wasn't exactly my cup of tea, but again, hell yeah that she was there. Props to her, and I hope that her band gets noticed a little bit, because she seemed talented. Then, obviously, Let's Go Oilers from both singers. They actually were wearing Oilers jerseys for the last song being Riot. Again, fucking insane. Absolutely wild. More so Maddie was cheering it than Adam, but still. And both of them, again, wore Oilers jerseys with their names on the back for the end song Riot, which the rest of the members were also given jerseys of their own to wear, as I seen a photo posted on their socials afterwards. So, hell yeah, some Oilers representation as they are in the playoffs. I know that it could just be planted, but I'd like to believe that they actually give a shit. So, hell yeah, let's go Oilers, as the Let's Go Oilers and We Want the Cup chant on the way outside of the arena, we were a part of that. There was a whole crowd as everyone was exiting, chanting, Let's Go Oilers, bum, 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 and We Want the Cup, we want the cup. Like, it was insane to be a part of that. I know it wasn't at an actual Oilers game. It wasn't at Brewhouse, but it was in Rogers Place. It was in the arena that they play, so it was only fitting, and I was able to actually smack on a metal garbage can to make the big, loud bum, 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 bum. And it was so fitting. It was awesome to be a part of again. I was able to take a few videos, but I honestly don't think it captured just the feeling that it felt to be there and a part of it. Again, huge Oilers fan. I really hope they can lift the cup this year. And it was lovely to see the support from just everyone involved, be it the bands or just the people there. Like, the fans are ready. Hell yeah. But as I mentioned, Never Too Late, amazingly done, and to hear it with the original singer, I was nearly in tears. Definitely a hard-hitting emotional one, and probably the most emotional of the night. Honestly, who would have expected it? I say that as a joke because it obviously is one of, if not their most emotional song they have, and it's just the one that everybody knows. The entire arena was holding up literal lighters, as I was myself, just singing their heart out along to this. And it was so, so beautiful to be a part of it with both members of the band. Like, it just felt like we were also a part of the song. And it's fitting because a lot of people, that song has helped through their life. And they even admitted it while they were playing it, or right before rather. And it was just so fitting, such an amazing night, and honestly, I just, reliving it in my brain, there's so many little details, be it the band just performing their ass off, the 3 Days Grace chant in between every song, because I don't know if their ego was extra high that day or what it was, but just even looking over at Reese and seeing her rock out, and just us both just giving our absolute best, the 110% effort to rocking out with this band on stage, because it might be the only time I'm able to. Like, it was so fitting, it was so good. I'm so glad I was able to be a part of it, because that music is a part of my childhood, and I adore everything 3 Days Grace has done, and I'm excited for this album to come. Honestly, August 22nd, 2025 couldn't come soon enough. It's gonna be an insane album, and I'm ready for it. But that was the entire trip, more or less. After the concert itself, which again was amazing, they put on a killer show. I will have videos on my TikTok at Lights Monarch. Go check it out, please. Give the support. It is appreciated. And after that, we were able to go check out West Edmonton Mall the very next day. And I was able to actually buy the Clancy pants. I got Clancy pants. So 21 Pilots, they did a collab with Hot Topic. Now, I passed on them last time, I can admit. Last time I was in Edmonton, I did see Clancy pants, their pajama pants for those that don't know. And they just have a bunch of 21 Pilots logos, and I say Clancy pants because they are for the Clancy era, and they are officially licensed merchandise. It says so on the pants themselves, and I was able to actually buy them this time because I thought about it since I passed up on them, and the fact that I was able to get them just felt so fitting. It made me happy. It brings me a smile to my face, and obviously Hot Topic being Hot Topic, I also got a Sleep Token shirt, which I'm very happy to have, because I don't know when I'll ever be able to see Sleep Token. I truly have no idea. Their shows never ever come up around here, and I can only be hopeful to actually one day see them. And if it's not in the cards, that is also fine. So be it. But we were able to go and see everything we wanted to see in West Edmonton Mall. I got my shirt and my Clancy pants, and Reese got herself a couple pins from Hot Topic as well, and I don't believe we got much else other than that, to be honest, out of everything in the entire place. We started it with getting some tea, though, because David's tea, hell yeah. I do like myself a good David's tea, and it was delicious as expected. And then we just took off and went on our way back home, and it was honestly a beautiful drive. I started it off by showing her some women that scream because she was curious to know any women that sound really metal and being able to do the gutturals and screams and such. And the first thing that came to mind was Spirit Box. And, you know, obviously that started the deep dive of Spirit Box. I was able to show her Eternal Blue, the EP that they did, and also the newest Tsunami Sea. And that honestly went very well, to then go into my liked songs on shuffle, which we listened to for the majority of the way home afterwards. And that was just a vibe. It was a good time. Obviously, you never know what you're going to get, and it sparked some pretty deep conversation, not going to lie, with just reminding us of childhood with some Kingdom Hearts music. So it was honestly a beautiful drive home. Thank you, Reese, for being a part of that trip. I'm very glad to be able to experience that with you, and just for us to actually be able to share that. So it was great. Had an amazing time through and through for the show, for the trip. What a great fucking weekend. And that's the point. It wasn't even the weekend. That was only Tuesday and Wednesday. So the next day after Wednesday was the big release date. That was June 12th. Now, for those of you that don't know, and those that listening have to at this point, June 12th was the release of The Contract by 21 Pilots. The Contract by 21 Pilots came out June 12th, and oh my god. Now, the show was amazing. That same day, though, after the show, we got a clip saying, "See you tomorrow," and we finally got a snippet of the song. A full snippet, 13-second snippet of the actual song. And that blew my mind, because it was that as well as a Steven Universe revival announcement. Now, the Steven Universe thing I want to just talk about and get out of the way right now, because it was a very quick just Twitter post that I seen, and a very quick announcement that doesn't really have much to say about it, but I do want to share it either way because it's Steven Universe, and that is one of the main things that I adore. Like, Steven Universe favorite TV show, and the fact that it is getting a sequel spin-off series called Lars and the Stars is insane. Now, the spin-off series Lars and the Stars has been announced, in where the new series will chart Lars and his pirate crew as they smuggle contraband, evade the authorities, and uncover the darkest secrets of the fallen gem empire. It's executively produced by Rebecca Sugar and Ian JQ. Don't know who that is, but Rebecca Sugar is back. She's the one that is the mastermind behind all of Steven Universe, and those that don't know, Rebecca Sugar. She has also worked on Adventure Time, probably being the most prominent thing she's done, and she knows what she's doing. Steven Universe is her baby. It is her creation. And the fact that we're getting more, even though it hasn't been greenlit just quite yet, it's only been announced, and supposedly coming to Prime Video, it's just honestly huge. And I have to say it's that huge because, and this is what gets me the most excited, that if it happens to go to Prime, and Prime ends up getting all of Steven Universe because they now have their new show, that is a whole new audience that is now exposed to and able to experience the beautiful wonder that Steven Universe as a series holds, and continues to carry through its 5 seasons, the future series, the movie, countless comic books and regular books, and video games. That's an insane run, and Steven Universe is coming back in the form of Lars in the Stars. Now, I know it's not going to follow Steven directly. I get that. I'm not expecting it. I'm not being delusional and saying, oh my god, Steven's going to be in every episode, but it's another show in that universe, and that alone is exciting. I cannot wait to understand and see what they've got in store for us. Now, to transition back to 21 Pilots as the very next day after we made it back from Edmonton, 10 a.m., the contract finally came out. Now, I don't even know where to begin on the contract. It honestly is a song that just caught me completely off guard, just as Overcompensate had just a year ago. Now, it's absolutely insane to think the contract is out because it came out also with a music video, which I was able to watch the moment it dropped. I believe I was like 19 seconds after it became live on YouTube, and I have a screenshot where I was within the first 11 views, just, flexing a little bit. I'm sure if I would have screenshot earlier, because I did rewind the video, pause it, and then screenshot, so if I would have just clicked it and screenshot, I probably would have been one of the first people there. But all the same, just a little bit of a happy moment for me. The song itself and the music video, holy hell. Now, it raises a lot of questions. It feels very much like the beginning of the end, more than ever before, more than any of their other songs ever have. And it is one of their most impressive tracks, especially for their single, like lead single tracks. One of the most impressive ones we've heard to date. Now, it feels like very much like a crossover between, I want to say, Regional at Best and Blurry Face, almost, with also just different elements from every record, it feels, because they break the norm of songwriting, which is very much a trench thing, and they have the more poppy kind of beats in it, which reminds me of Regional at Best, or one can even say Scaled and Icy, I guess. And, like, the drums, those live on Blurry Face. Like, I believe somebody did a video on Twitter, like, overlaying Heavy Dirty Soul and the contract, the drum, and they're pretty well the exact same, and it's insane to think that they kind of took a little bit of everything, while also just breaking the norm, which they did talk to Zane Lowe about, as Tyler even said in his Apple interview. He said many things, but one of the things he said was that he actually had to rethink how melody, like what makes a good melody. And he rethought that, and this is what he came up with, because it was something that was the complete exact opposite of what he would have wanted to do, just like naturally. And the reason he didn't do it what came naturally is because he said he's heard this before, he's done this before. And it was a way to make this song feel brand new, and that is exactly what it is. Like, not only is it a brand new song, but it feels brand new. It feels like something they've never done before, while at the exact same time feeling so familiar. And 21 Pilots, they really knocked it out of the park with this one. Like, I know I'm biased. I understand that I'm biased, and everyone listening knows. But I have to say, they killed it. The song itself, the actual scream, the screaming chorus that is in it, even if it is only one bar, it is so good. It is so fitting. I've been waiting for this, and it is finally here for all of us to enjoy. And the music video, don't even get me started, because there is so much to it. The literal tornado of Clancy's from past, like, because there's a tornado of Clancy, which is something that is directly ripped from Kingdom Hearts, the Remind, where Aqua looks up and sees literal versions of herself in a tornado. Like, excuse me, but did 21 Pilots just copy Kingdom Hearts here? Like, that's what my mind went to. But apart from that, removing myself from that, what a video just in itself. It's so cinematic. It is one of the most visually stunning ones we've ever seen. And also, everything that they were doing on tour leading up to this has been represented in one way or another in the music video, because they've been giving us hints ever since the tour started. Crazy to think that it has been this intricate and has been this deep, but it is so worth it. And the fact that we're finally nearing the payoff is crazy. I know the album Breach doesn't come out yet. It comes out in September, but more details were announced. Now, the tour, there is a Breach tour. It's the Clancy Tour Breach, essentially being the second leg of the tour, if you will. And it looks like they're hitting up amphitheaters and stadiums. This is going to be huge for the final battle that they are gearing up for. Which really just has me wondering, are they going to make it like a play? Are they actually going to have people on stage, being they have such a big area to work with, and show it off as a play? Like, I know it's still going to be a rock show or, like, you know, a live show. But are they going to incorporate more musical theater-esque, more play-esque things into it? Very, very, very curious. With the amount of space they've got, it's insane. Now, they aren't coming to Canada in terms of anywhere but Toronto, just the classic Canada, which kind of blows. Not gonna lie, I wish they were coming to Edmonton, but it makes sense because we don't have an amphitheater. We don't have a huge-ass stadium. But we do have the Budweiser stage in Toronto, which is where they are hitting up. And then they are hitting up a couple other places in the United States for now. There isn't anything else announced yet. But I'm going to try to get tickets for the Toronto date because I would love to see them in Canada for this. But if we can't get tickets for that, then odds are we're going to aim for tickets for ones down in Illinois and Wisconsin, I believe. Regardless, though, I hope we can get tickets because to see this final leg, I think, is something that, as a fan that has been around since the beginning of the story, is kind of important for me to do. A little bit of a fulfilling moment, like self-fulfillment, you know? The prophecy, if you will. I'm a bandito. I gotta be there to support Clancy and Torchbearer, no? Like, honestly. And obviously, Noah, he's a huge push for this too because he's getting into it, and he wants to go see them very bad too. So here's fingers crossed that we're able to get tickets for at least Toronto, if not the other ones. Please, 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 please. Anyways, though, on top of the tour itself, there were a lot of vinyl variants announced. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. There are literally at least 20 of them. And one that really caught me off guard, my favorite being the FPE one that I ordered at first, which I will get into here, but the one that they just posted that caught me off guard was called Blue Inferno. Now, lore-wise, blue is the color of defeat. At least that's what Blurryface tells us. And with this being called Blue Inferno, it makes me wonder if maybe, just maybe, the color blue is going to get redeemed. And we are going to see a true Blue Inferno when Clancy takes up the jacket and becomes one, if you will, with Torchbearer and really hits his full potential. Because we haven't seen it yet. We're told blue is a sign of defeat. I'm starting to think maybe it isn't. Maybe it's something that we can hold and use against Nico and the rest of them, if they're even there to fight in the first place, as in Paladin Strait, Clancy beat them. Now, I don't want to get too into the lore here, again, because I'm not going to talk about that until later on in another episode, but a lot of questions. It raises a lot of questions and makes me very excited. The song, the music video, how it all relates to the lore, and just the build-up in the relation to the release that they were able to do, it's insane. And I know I've talked about it to probably no end now, and also even the interview with Zane Lowe, and where they were able to just share that they already had this planned and wanted to add songs to Clancy since it was out. But they didn't want people to say, oh, it's just the deluxe, because that's a way of, describing fast food, and that's not what Tyler likes. That's not artistic. That's not giving it its due. And that in itself is why we are getting a full-length album called Breach. Like, I'm so excited. And also, stay wary. The track list itself has not been announced, but it is circling online. I guess Urban Outfitters kind of made an oops, and they posted the track list. So be careful. I don't know what it is yet, and I don't want to know what it is yet. I'm going to wait until they announce it, because there has to be a reason as to why they haven't yet. And if that changes anytime soon, I will be sure to let y'all know when it is officially announced. Now, the only last thing I want to mention about the contract and Breach in general, again, amazing song, please go stream it. I guess I listened to it for 26 times in a row or something the other day, which, oopsies, or at least it wasn't in a row. It was the entire day, because again, Airbuds tells me. I listened to it 26 times in that whole day. And it was the day that I worked at the mall. So, if that says anything, like, I adore the song. And I'm not trying to burn it out either, because I could have listened to it way more, not gonna lie. But I'm trying to give it its due. I can see it being one of my favorite songs from them. And also to see it live, the potential to see it live makes me very excited. Now, I wanted to talk about the first pressing edition. Now, to all of the fans out there that were able to get their hands on this, congrats, because we got an email from 21 Piløts themselves saying, "Thank you for purchasing the limited Breach first pressing edition, vinyl and or CD. These exclusive variants feature special details including an individually numbered jacket, a note written by the band, and a collectible poster available only with this edition. These variants will not be manufactured again and will be yours upon the Breach album release in September." And obviously it is yellow vinyl, Bandito yellow vinyl if you will, with a little sticker on the cover saying FPE, First Pressing Edition. Very fitting, and it has a little logo on it as well. Just 21 Piløts doing 21 Piløts things. And the CD, instead of it being red, like it is their logo, instead of the logo being filled in red, it is filled in yellow. It's filled in yellow! It makes me so happy. And the fact that those jackets, the vinyl jacket, the CD cover, they're going to be numbered. And also we're getting a note from the band and a special poster. Hell yes! Like, I know it could have came with something else. It could have been anything, really. But I'm glad that we're getting something even more so than it just being, hey, this is the first pressing. There's actually more to it, and it is for those fans because they know that the only ones that were ordering that were the true fans, the ones that have been following this story since the beginning, or at least since Clancy, you know what I mean? Like, the ones that have been involved in this journey were able to get this, and they're the ones that really care about it, such as myself. So it's very fitting. I am very happy, and it made me not sure what variant I wanted to order, because I already ordered that one. And I did end up ordering this black and yellow kind of splatter one. I believe it was called Black Yellow Combustion, which was, you know, it reminded me very much of Trench, which is my favorite album of theirs. Kind of kicking myself that I didn't get the red and black Inkwell vinyl, because that one was beautiful, but it is sold out on all their stores, which is what prompted me to finally pull the trigger and order the one that I've personally loved from first glance. Now, there are a ton of them. If you want to go buy this album, do not fret. There are tons of variants. There are tons of options. So many. And there will be more to buy, obviously, in store too, from your independent record store, from Sunrise Records if you live in Canada, like where I work. I'm sure we're getting tons in. Very cool to know, but Breach is on its way. We got our first taste of it, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. 21 Piløts, thank you so much for just coming back and being able to do what you do. Now, to kind of wind down this episode, I just wanted to touch on a few things here, being Set the World on Fire is turning, or has turned at this point, 11 years old. As well, Perfect Weapon turned 15, and Knives and Pens, all these being from Black Veil Brides, is about to hit 16 years old. What? Now, with Knives and Pens, they are also returning with some merch to give us from their web store. So hell yeah, go check it out, and happy birthday to BVB all around, because they've got a lot of anniversaries happening. cannot wait to get around to doing that deep dive on Set the World on Fire. It should be here soon. I don't want to promise anything, but it should be here soon. Adore Black Veil Brides, that record, and everything they've done. I'm so happy to say that I'm a fan of them as well. And to be a part of the BVB Army, it is a great time to be a fan. And so many things going on also. They're touring with Baby Metal right now, like hello. And we got a bunch of like extra photos. We've finally seen their new logo, if you hadn't seen it already, on their web store. Just big things, good things happening for Black Veil. I think we're on the verge of new music from them at least sometime soon. And that's not even to mention, being that they're on the road with Baby Metal, I'm very hopeful. And they also have that documentary that's supposed to come out. Like, not even to mention that documentary. Like, where is that at right now? Hello? Cannot wait to hear more from Black Veil. I really hope something is on the horizon. And just so happy to be a fan of music. Not to mention, also, Warped Tour started, Download, and Rock AM Ring happened. Big festivals, big things in the music verse happening right now, and it is an amazing time to be a fan. Now, MCR, 3 Cheers of Sweet Revenge remix album. My thoughts on that. I don't even know where to begin. I think I should honestly save that for another time. I will just say high level right now, because I do need to listen to it again. I plan on buying it on vinyl. Maybe I can spin it and listen to it that way, spin both and listen to them closely. Because honestly, I noticed a lot of difference, and they honestly just kind of made it sound more clean, which I have to say takes away from the original's gritty kind of emo just vibe. It bled emotion, and they kind of lessened it in more or less fixing it. Like, it sounds better mixed and sounds more like it's properly done, but it kind of takes away from the angst that it had, you know? But I will share my thoughts even more so, if I have any to share, on the next episode when I give it a little bit more time to sink in truly. On top of that, on June 19th, Silverstein and Dayseeker drop a new song called Drain the Blood from Silverstein's upcoming album Pink Moon. Comes out later this year. Very excited for that. I do love Dayseeker, and Silverstein absolutely slaps. And MGK. Definitely weird to say them in the same conversation, but MGK announced a new album called Lost Americana with Bob Dylan narrating a trailer for it. Very, very intrigued and curious about this. I don't super love MGK, but I follow him enough to hear his things as they release, and I haven't been getting disappointed quite yet. Cliché isn't exactly my vibe and isn't one I've listened to much of, but I can't deny that it sounds good, because it sure the hell does. Also, Riot by Paramore. It turned 18. It is an adult in Canada. That's nuts. It's an adult and can drink in Canada. What? Riot is 18. That, over the moon about that. Then Deltarune. It's getting universal praise. I just had to mention that because I know, Logan, you've been playing it. I hope it's been an absolute dream, as I've been hearing. I haven't gotten spoiled for it, and I don't plan to. But very good to hear that it is doing amazing. On top of it all, congratulations to Kendrick Lamar for GNX winning Album of the Year at the BET Awards. And this in particular, shout out to Doechii for when she won an award of hers, as she had some choice words for everyone dealing with ICE in LA and the States in general, and to Donald Trump himself. A quote from her speech said, "I feel it's my responsibility as an artist to use this moment to speak up for all oppressed people. For Black people, for Latino people, for trans people, for the people in Gaza. We all deserve to live in hope and not fear." Which honestly, props to her. Thank you, Doechii, for using your platform to talk about something that's important, that you feel is important, amongst many other artists, as it also makes me think of the current No Kings protests that have been going on all over the States. I know this place on my podcast is not very political, and I'm not about to make it so, but I have to touch on this because it's my way of having a voice, and I feel wrong if I don't at least mention it. As what's going on down there is crazy. It's something that is unheard of for the United States. It's unheard of for North America. It doesn't feel like something that should happen here. And I don't mean to be that kind of person, but it's true. And it's something that I have to say, the No Kings protest out in the States, across the United States, all over the place, which had some of the biggest turnouts in history, had many artists making their stance known by standing with the many and using their voices to help, such as Amy Lee, Gracie Abrams, Conan Gray, many others. They're all over the place speaking out and being a part of these rallies and being a part of this movement, if you will. And it's just completely moving because people need to hear this. They need to know, immigration, it might need to be rethought or something of the sorts. I'm not even going to touch that right now, but what's going on right now is not right and should be taken seriously. So I hope for everyone involved, everyone that is affected by this, my heart goes out to you. I hope that you're able to make it through this and just stay strong. And if you're able to, I know music can't fix what's going on, but if you can use it as a coping mechanism, it is here for you, as it always will be. Now, to get on a little bit of a lighter note, Taylor Swift. She made headlines because she stopped at a children's hospital and made some wishes come true. What a legend she is. Honestly, just straight up, what a legend. And that was the day after she was at the Oilers versus Panthers game in Florida herself for Game 4, in which the Oilers won. I have to say, they won it. I'll scream it from the rooftops. Taylor Swift, I'm sorry. You were close to having your team, Florida, win. But my team, the Edmonton Oilers, we pushed through. Hell yeah, boys! Though I can't be too proud of myself because the Oilers proceeded to lose the next game, which was in Edmonton at that point. So we are going down to Florida one more time. And if the Oilers don't win, then the entire Stanley Cup final's over because Florida is currently leading the Oilers in a 3-2 series. Not exactly what I wanted, but come on, boys, let's push on through for Game 6. We can do it. Let's go, Oilers! Let's hope they can pull it off. I really hope. And again, even if I am delusional, I'm going to go down with that ship or rise with it. Come on, boys. We can pull this off. Please. Anyways, the only Friday the 13th happened and passed. It is the only one this year. Absolutely insane because apparently it was the actual birthday of Friday the 13th as a franchise or Jason himself. I can't remember exactly which was the truth, but wild to hear that. And Spaceballs 2. The Quest for More Money. What? I have to mention this because wow, does Mel Brooks ever look good for his age, being 98. And he's returning as Yogurt, the little Yoda ripoff, the spoof of him. And he's going to be turning 100 years old by the time Spaceballs 2 releases. That is nuts. I really hope they get to filming it quick because I know people, there's no guarantee he's going to make that. I don't want to be that person, but there is no guarantee he's going to make that. So please film quick, and I hope that he can be there for the premiere on that red carpet because he is a legend. And speaking of legends, they are bringing Rick Moranis out of retirement also. And the guy that played the, I don't know his name from Spaceballs, but the guy that played the Han Solo spoof, he's returning too with his own kid. And it's just so exciting. It is very exciting. It's a movie that I remember fondly because my dad showed me it years and years ago. It has that silly kind of humor, which is just silly for the sake of being silly. I adore that. I cannot wait. I'm really hopeful that this ends up being one of those things that ends up being a little bit more worth it because I know that nostalgia only gets you so far. So please, minds behind Spaceballs, if Mel Brooks is even going to be a part of it because he definitely knows how to make it good. Listen to the man. Please make it good. I really hope that it is worth seeing come 2027. Now, a quick thing about Taylor Swift that actually happened. 1989 by Taylor Swift has now spent a full 10 years charting on the Billboard 200. And Taylor Swift charts 11 albums on the week's Billboard 200 after gaining her full ownership of the masters, being number 5, Reputation, 18, The Tortured Poets Department, 30, Lover, 50, Midnights, 52, Folklore, number 61, 1989, Taylor's version, 64, Taylor Swift, 73, 1989, 147, Red, Taylor's version, 170, Speak Now, and 185, Speak Now, Taylor's version. Hell yeah, Taylor Swift. You're awesome. Can't believe that you're able to do that. What an absolute legend. Someone to look up to as an aspiring artist myself. Absolutely wild. Now, speaking of Taylor Swift, she has to have something coming on the way because she just released her brand new summer collection on her web store, which honestly looked very, very cute. I didn't get any myself, but just reminded me that, hey, Taylor Swift is back. She's got all of her stuff back, and it makes me happy to say that I'm a fan of her. So, congrats, Taylor Swift. You are awesome. Now, to talk on some new releases, I have to mention First Love from the First Take by Hikaru Utada. Congrats to her. That was an amazing song. It made me cry. I didn't ever hear the original, so it made me go back and listen to the original. It was amazing. Love her music. Obviously, after that, we have The Contract by 21 Pilots. Enough said. Congrats, boys, on the release. Then Harder to Breathe by Brace Yourself. A great song if you like metalcore, metal... Honestly, not even metalcore. I want to say hard rock music. Give that a listen. They're a very small band on Spotify. They currently only have 1,427 monthly listeners. Give them a listen. They deserve it. Alongside Pine Hill, they're even smaller. Shout out to Caden for showing me them. They didn't release anything new, but they are a band that sound amazing, and they're only at like 800 listeners. Like, go listen to these bands. They are worth it. Pine Hill and Brace Yourself. You won't regret it. Then, In My Arms cinematic version by Illenium and Hala. Very good. I do personally like the original more, but that one was good all the same. Then Sucker Punch by All Time Low. They're back. All Time Low is back. This song reminds me of, like, it's just injected with 90s or 80s vibes. It is so, so good. I'm a huge fan of it. I really liked it, and I'm excited to see where this leads. Because odds are we're getting an album at some point, and I personally am an All Time Low fan. I'm excited for this. This song caught me off guard. It's called Sucker Punch. It is very good. Give it a shot. You probably won't regret it, but I know All Time Low isn't for everybody. So all the same, I fuck with it, and it has a huge old school, like 90s, 80s kind of vibe. So you let me know what you think. Then Beautiful You by Echo, Cashed Out, and Greaves. Very good song. I didn't like it at first, but it ended up growing on me. Then Porcelain Face by Rivals. This being the last release. This week was kind of slow for releases, but we got The Contract. I can't even complain. But Porcelain Face by Rivals. This one I didn't fully vibe with. I cannot even lie. Because I don't know if just the lyricism changed in their music. Maybe I'm falling off. I'm just not feeling it. The instrumental was great, but the lyrics could have had a little bit more of just some more work on it. I don't want to shit on it because it's her artistic vision along with her band member, but I think this might be time for me to step away from them. I'll keep an eye out to see if they have anything out, but this song really didn't vibe with me much. And before I do forget, Nate Wants to Battle. He released To Let Go Reimagined. I have to mention that because Logan loves the man, and I personally love that song, as well as that album that he released, which is To Let Go. Very good. The reimagined version is just as good, if not even a little better, so please go give it a shot, listen to it, check it out. And before I do close off here, I just wanted to leave you all with a story. Because at Sunrise Records, while I was working there, I had a customer who came in and bought a Cody Johnson CD. Now, I've never listened to Cody Johnson. I didn't really know much about him at all. I didn't know who he was, but I knew most certainly him to be a country artist, as the artwork for the album he was buying had a cowboy on the cover. Now, he went to tell me that he had been searching for that album for a long time, and he was very happy to have come across it here, and that it had not one, but both songs he wanted with it being the deluxe version of said album. Now, Out of curiosity, I asked what songs were those favorites, and he only told me about the one, and that one in specific being called The Painter. I ended up listening to it after this story, and it is a very good song. It is very good. If you like country music, highly recommend. But he told me that The Painter was a song he would listen to with his wife before she passed, and that the song itself is very special to him, and the lyrics of the song itself speaks of the singer's partner and how she keeps the inspiration and is the motivation to continue on in his passions for music and art, in which he told me that it felt even more so like his real life, even with his wife gone. It was a story that moved me, as now he is that song and he is able to listen to it whenever he feels. And for him to feel as though she's there still, remembering the inspiration she gave, and with that song reigniting the spark, I just hope he's happy, because it sure affected me, and it made me just feel a little bit overwhelmed with emotion, because that, again, just speaks volumes for what music does for people, for it, the memories, for the meaning behind it all, music with meaning and emotion. This man bought this album to have this song, along with the other one which he didn't mention, but this song in particular, to remind him of his wife that's passed. And for him to feel comfortable enough, and probably out of pure excitement for finally finding this, as he said he'd been on this hunt for it for a long time, to share that with me, it made me feel like we had a little intimate moment of just, again, music bringing people together and sharing music. And it made me listen to it, and I don't know that man, I don't know his life story, but being able to listen to that song and think of that sure just left my heart full. So to him, wherever he's at, I hope he's happy listening to that song and feels some solace within the pain that he probably feels. So again, just music's amazing, music's beautiful, it helps us heal, and it helps us remember a better time, and continues us going on to push on through to the future and even newer and more experiences. So music's amazing through and through. I adore it, as I'm sure all of you do too. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for discovering the music within.